This
Mike's that. Okay. Now I need to get into, because I want this on the radio too. Okay. Make sure we get this right.
Okay.
This city needs a conversation, and Broken Glass is starting it. This is not just a play, it's a reckoning. Broken Glass is a bold, emotional stage production that shatters the silence around molestation, exposing the pain, the struggle, and the power of healing. Join us at Woodlawn Point Community Center, 702 Donaldson Avenue, on Saturday, August 30th at 5 p.m. and Sunday, August 31st at 5 p.m. Through raw storytelling and courageous truth-telling, this production opens the door to awareness, restoration, and community dialogue. General admission is just $20. Will she break or break through? Come witness a voice rise from the cracks. Broken Glass, because some stories demand to be heard. Presented by Jahi Osazé. For more information, call 210-317-4575. Don't just see the play, be part of the change.
All right, good morning, everybody. Oh, man, I tell you what, I'm with a gentleman right here. He's an icon. He don't know it yet. But this has been, I can't remember where we met. Was it at the Carver Library?
That's exactly where it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that was months ago.
Yeah.
And we stayed in contact, and he told me about this play that he was doing, and I was intrigued with what he was saying, what it was all about. And I said, man, I got to get you on my show. Mitchell Osazé, I had to make sure you got on the show so you could talk about Broken Glass. Okay. And this is something that went on Saturday. They had, what was it, a dinner?
Dinner and dialogue.
Dinner and dialogue.
Red carpet event.
Man, yeah, the red carpet was out. My first time I walked across red carpet, size one back in the 70s that people put on the floor. But it was a good outing for me because I had a chance to sit down there and honestly watch this whole play. Well, not the play, but I seen some trailers that I never seen before. And they were so powerful. And what it was saying to you, you don't have to see the play. If you look at the trailer and let your mind imagine what this little girl went through. And just looking at what was going on. Now, them trailers was beautifully put together.
Thank you, brother. Thank
They was beautiful put together because I love them. The guy said, I'm going to play a few more. And he did. And he did. So my hat's off to you in your play. It's taking place this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
So we got Saturday and Sunday. I'm coming on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming on Sunday after church. I'll be there. But after you was on the interview the first time around, we were talking, and people swore up and down it was staged.
For real?
Yeah. They said, y'all don't talk that good together, do y'all? And I said, no, it just happened.
Yeah.
We was on the same wavelength. Yeah. And it touches my heart when we turn around and they're messing with our kids.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the part that irritates me more than anything. There are people out there that just prey on our children. And I like it Broken Glass because when that glass is shattered, it's shattered for life until you seek help or do something about it. But it's there with you for the rest of your life no matter what is there. And for somebody to prey on a child, it's just, oh, don't get me started.
Wow, man, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you've invited me on your show today. And again, every time when I speak with you, I enjoy talking with you, and that's why the fluidity is so nice and it's so smooth, because when you have a passion about an issue that we face, I think it speaks volumes to what we have to do, and that is we have to talk about what is really going on. And
Yes.
abuse, Ronald, is all over, and you and I both know that. And I appreciate you taking the time out to say, hey, let's not just expose it, but let's talk about some things we can do to alleviate it.
Yes.
Because abuse, we know it comes in many forms. You have your sexual abuse, you have your physical abuse, you have your emotional abuse, you have your verbal abuse, and you also have neglect, which is a form of abuse. And so Broken Glass, which is a production that's going to be aired at Woodlawn Point Community Center, 702 Donaldson Avenue, the 30th and the 31st, which is a Saturday and a Sunday, from 5 o'clock till about 7. That's a play that addresses those types of abuses that a lot of us don't like to talk about.
Oh, you ain't kidding. It's almost like what happens in your house, stay in your house. And sometimes nowadays that can't be true anymore, because if it's abuse and the cycle is there, once you start talking to other family members, once it's said and done, they admit they went through the same thing. But why we got to keep on going through the same thing? Just be quiet. Sweep it up under the rug. But that poor person is going through all this trauma and don't know what to say. And then when they speak out about it, they think something's wrong with them.
Yeah, that's true. Because when you have a person who's been abused, and because we don't do the proper maintenance, sometimes we get where we talk about the victim as if the victim is the perpetrator. We don't create safe spaces like you're doing now. This is a safe space. In other words, we can talk about it. We can talk about it openly. We can talk about it honestly, because we know that most of us have been abused in some form or fashion. If not most of us, all of us know someone who has been. And I think it's important that we have these discussions to where we talk about what do we do when we're abused? How do we act when we're abused? Why are we not addressing the abuse? Why are we sweeping it under the carpet? And as men, we should lead the charge in exposing this, because as a society, when you have the man in society that doesn't take the proper leadership role as far as helping our little babies and our young girls and our young boys and teenagers, even some of our older people, we have a problem and we have chaos, and that's what we find ourselves with today, a lot of chaos.
Hey, you're so right about that, because who was the young lady that spoke there?
Dr. Keeley, I believe her name.
Yeah, she said some things that resonated with everything. I like the part when the glass is broken, you still got char that's stuck in your skin. On your feet, it's still stuck in you, and you got to pull those out one at a time, it seems like. And when that happens, the fear and the victim pulling that glass, when they pull that piece of glass out, that's another story they want to tell about what happened. And the fear comes in, what if I get to the last piece of glass and I expose a family member? Now, then you'll have family against family. They're going to say, well, you shouldn't have been too fast. That's what you get for being fast. It's almost like it's a punishment for something you had no control over.
You're teaching, brother. That's good. Because it's just like the caption says in some of our posters, some things cut deep. And that's what you're talking about. It cuts deep. It cuts deep to the core. It cuts deep to the heart. It cuts deep to the soul. And this is why we as a society have to open up and be honest, because a lot of us are still broken. We're still broken, and we need to know that when you look at a story, which the storyline in the play Broken Glass, it all centers around a young lady who was molested. She was abused as a girl, but she never did anything about it. She just held on to those emotions. When she became an adult, she had a mental breakdown and had to go into an institution. They had to institutionalize her because it bothered her so much, along with other areas in her life. And she meets people that are there who are broken. The people she works with are broken. So it's not just about her molestation, although that was the major part, but it shows that we all have broken glass in our lives, and we have to deal with that unless we become the adults that many of us have become, which is a lot of us we have some psychological problems because we didn't deal with that when we were growing up.
You know, that's a good point because you're right. Everybody who's growing up has some type of broken glass. It's how you deal with it.
Right.
Some don't deal with it at all. They put it in back of their mind and said it's over with, it's done.
Right.
But when you grow older, something may trigger that. And when it triggers that, you can't put that genie back in the bottle.
No, you can't. You can't. And even when you said that, I went to a college here in San Antonio, Texas, and I was promoting the play. And I might have told you this story, but it's worth repeating. I walked into St. Philip's, and there were two European gentlemen. They had to be about 21 or maybe 22. And they asked me what was I doing there. So I gave them my spiel about broken glass and abuse. And one of the gentlemen broke down, Ronald. He broke down and started crying, and he just started hugging me. He was shaking. And I was like, well, what's going on, man? And when we got done embracing, he says, I was molested as a boy. And I've been holding on to this for all these years. And you're the first person, I don't know how it happened, but the way you spoke about it, he says, I just wanted to tell somebody. So he says, I'm going to do everything I can to come to the play. And I told him, not only that, you need therapy because you've been holding on to it, you see. And we need to get you in a situation where you can be helped a lot more than just watching a play because this is internal. And man, it touched my heart that he had been holding on to this for many years, and yet he felt comfortable enough to talk to me about it. And I hope I see that brother come because I want to lead him in a direction where he can get further assistance.
You said a key word, comfortable. That's why a lot of people don't want to seek help because they want to feel comfortable. And besides feeling comfortable, can I trust that person not to tell my business? And it's hard for people, the way things are nowadays with social media. Somebody could put out something right away, just hear a glimpse of a conversation and blow it up somewhere else. All of a sudden, this person's on the front page of social media and he or she don't even know what they did to be up there.
Exactly.
And then it's falsehoods that they're preaching. See, everybody wants that 5 minutes of fame. And when they want that 5 minutes of fame, they don't care who they hurt to get there.
Wow, you're right. And even in broken glass, you know, we have a situation where in this mental institution, there are two co-workers. And we're talking about what true friendship is. Because as you just stated, true friendship is not about telling people's business so that you can get accolades, so you can put them down and make yourself seem like you're better. But true friendship is, will you stick with me while I go through what I go through? And there's a couple of people in the play that depicts that. They talk about what true friendship looks like when a person has a problem. And in that play, it's beautifully done because instead of talking about how does it look, we demonstrate what it looks like so that you can duplicate it in your own life.
Because I got an iron box up here because my wife would tell me, so what did Pastor say? I said, he just talked to me. About what? It's a need to know basis, and you don't need to know. And then I got some friends that confided in me and everything, and now it's getting to be like everybody does it now because I don't tell nobody's business. You know, somebody wants somebody to talk to, and if you look at, how can I put it? Certain people will talk to you because they know they trust you and know you're going to give an honest opinion about something. Some people want to talk to you, they want you to just listen. And that's the part that's a very thin line. So I asked somebody one day, I wasn't being ugly. I said, do you know the difference between an open and closed-in question? He said, why is that? When somebody's talking to you, and then if they ask you what you think, then you could go ahead. But before that person even get it off their chest, you want to tell them what the problem is.
Yes, sir.
And that person will be turned off right away from you, probably never talk to you again about anything.
Right.
Because, number one, you have to be listening. My mom always told me this, in order to be a great speaker, you have to be a great listener.
Well said, well said. And you know, this is why a lot of healing does not take place, because of the very point that you're making. With some of us, we talk too much. But healing from trauma is what we all should be engaging in, because we've all been hurt. So the goal in life is to go through this life with as less trauma as you can. And you're the one, and I'm the one, and all of the audience, we're the ones who can help the situation. So we need a healing, Ronald. We need a healing, and I'm not talking about going to a place and letting the man put his hand on your forehead and all that. I'm talking about from deep within, knowing that we have suffered. We have been talked about. We have been abused. We have been neglected, and that's why a lot of us are isolated now. And so we have to go back and deal with the aspect of how do I heal from the pain that's inside of me, the anguish, the torment that a lot of us still carry today. So Broken Glass, once again, is a stage play that addresses each of those issues, and it's something for all of us, even myself, because, you know, even as a young boy growing up, I had to deal with a lot of issues as well. And the point of it is I have to continue to make sure that now that I'm an adult, that I keep my mind in a sane position so that no matter what comes at me mentally, I can be the best male that I can be.
Yes, I hear you on that one. So I want to get back to the play.
Okay.
Because that young little girl, that little clip that I seen, before I watched her around there, and I'm going to give you your just due. I was there, me and my wife was there. It was like a little village inside there. These kids were on point. They were serving. They was doing everything. And they were so polite. They came and asked you, are you finished? And I'm watching them as they operate. In order for them to operate like that, they had to been taught. Because this just a girl, anybody can be taught how to act. Or not, well, act too, but be what they should be.
Right.
But I watched around how everybody was on point. They knew what they were doing. They had a couple of people who directed them, but after that, they were on their own. It was, the funniest thing out of all that is they was bringing drinks out one at a time. Somebody discovered a cart.
Okay.
They put all the drinks on the cart. I looked at them. I said, "There you go."
Wow. Yeah, those children, they're very sagacious. And I know you and I talk a lot of times, and we talk off the air, and it goes back to a lot of times what we talk about in our upbringing. Because I was reared, my mother, she had a drinking problem, but she taught me right from wrong. She taught me how to treat people. And so that stayed with me. And so now as an instructor, I make sure that my students understand that this world is not just about you, it's about us. And so you have to serve people. And so this is why you see them happy to serve, because they realize that it's in their hearts. In order for them to be great, they have to know how to serve, and that's exactly what they do, and they do it willingly, with joy.
And that was good. And the young lady who sung, oh man, she had a lot of stuff going on. She said what was going on, and my heart just went out to her. Because to have that courage to get up there and sing, that takes a lot.
Yeah, she has a story that will make your glasses fog up. But through it all, she said, when I first asked her to be a part of Broken Glass as the songstress, she said, "Jahi, I would do it in a heartbeat." And I said, "Well, what's going on?" So she told me her story. It's the same story. As a girl, she had some things happen to her. And she was like, now I want to be on a crusade so that I can help expose it so that my daughters and my sons and so my people that's growing up, they won't have to deal with that. And because, she told me the part she likes about the play is there's a young lady who's in a mental institution who's lonely. She's in a wheelchair. She's confined. And this lady, she wants to go home, Ronald. But the problem is her family is non-existent. So she wants them to come to see her. So she's dealing with loneliness as a Broken Glass. She's very lonely. And throughout the play, she wants to go home. And I know we talk about spirituality, religion, and all that, and that's fine. But it's like some people, we see those people that are lonely, but we won't go visit them. We don't have to be relatives, but we never go to nursing homes. We never go to rehabilitation centers. We never go to those places that people just need some type of, they need some assistance to where they just want to talk to you. And so throughout the play, she's battling, she's struggling. So she latches on to people in the institution because she has no one else to care for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just said that. I have a nonprofit called Ask the Lonely that I'm getting everything geared up from that. And my main deal is what you just said. I want to go to nursing homes, get the youth to come to nursing homes just to talk to them.
That's all.
And that's all they want, because like I said, some don't have family. They have family that don't want to visit them. But if you get there and you talk to them, and it's called it's nonprofit called Ask the Lonely, and my tagline is "You're never alone."
Wow. Wow.
And when you just said that, I said, "Wow, that's deep."
Wow. It really is. And you know, one of the other things that I would like to address is, in this particular play, Broken Glass, it ventures out to a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. We have a couple that's married that has a biracial girl. She's about 9. The young man is an African American, and the female is a Hispanic. And throughout the whole play, they're bickering back and forth because the gentleman wants to teach his daughter the importance of race, whereas the mother is saying, why do we always have to focus and talk about race? And so that's a dynamic, and the little girl is confused because the dad is telling her that it's important to say who you are and to claim who you are and your ancestry and all that, whereas the mother is saying it's really not that. So here you have an emotional neglect. You have a broken glass because you're neglecting to tell this person the truth, and race is a huge issue in the United States, all over the world. And so we even touch on that because we have a lot of issues that we can't do them all, but we can do the ones that's prevalent, and that's a prevalent issue today, and it's called race.
That is. When you have a mixed family like that, it is, you don't know which side, you know. Oh, that's an easy decision. Talk about both sides. Sit them down, let them know. This is this side of the family, this is our side of the family, this is how we do things. But like I said, people, they get lost in where they're at. Like being black, I want them to know everything about being black. But if your wife is Hispanic or white, she wants them to know about her side of the family. And that's a struggle. That's a struggle. I remember my mom once said, because we got mixed all in our family. And what did she say one time? I can't forget what she said, but she said, we got our own coalition right here. You know, everything's right here. You name it. We got Jewish, we got Catholic, we got Protestants.
Exactly.
We got it all in the family.
Right.
But we all get along.
Beautiful.
Regardless.
Right.
I could care less, you know. If you happy with him or her, who am I to jump in and say, you shouldn't do that?
Wow. Well, this gentleman here, Ronald Gordon Sr., you all know him and as a radio personality, and he's a very fine gentleman, and he's always interviewing and interrogating me and others. But what I want to do is ask him a question, because this is unprecedented that the guest asks the host a question, but I want to ask him because he supports Broken Glass, not by just verbosity, not just lip service. I mean, he's donated financially to help us as a sponsor. So I have a question for you, and we can continue to talk about the play, but I want to know, why did you take a cause in supporting Broken Glass and putting your money where your mouth is?
Because in my family, the first cousins, I think there are 21 girls and 5 boys. And I watched the heartache on the young ladies coming up. I watched everything that's going on with them, the sorrow, all that stuff that went on. And some of the stuff went on that I was surprised.
Okay.
And so when Broken Glass came up, when we talked back at the conference center, I did research on it. I looked at it. I said, man, I'm going to jump in this cause right here.
Okay.
I'm going to jump in because if this young lady could touch one young lady out there, then that one lady touches somebody else, you know, and it's got to get out. And besides, I got a very soft spot for kids.
Okay.
I mean, I would do anything for kids. Somebody could call me up right now and say, hey, Ron, on so-and-so date, are you busy? We don't have much money, but you know, we need some music and all that. I said, done. Where's it going to be at?
Okay. I had to get that out because I know you support willingly and you were happy and you were excited. And I'm like, okay, what's the drive behind that? I never asked you that, but now you expressed that to me and I appreciate it. Broken Glass also deals with an abusive situation, but it's a young lady whose son is in CPS. And so throughout the play, she's gearing up. She stopped drinking for at least 6 months, so she has a hearing to go to so she can get her son back. We all make mistakes. We all mess up. We all fall by the wayside. But so she's clean and she's sober. And so throughout the play, she's doing the very thing that she should do. So she goes to CPS to see if she can get her son back to start her life with. He's only about 5 or 4.
Yeah.
But the point of it is the audience will have to come to see whether she gets him or not, because I'm not going to tell the whole story.
Okay.
But and another thing is the person that was molested, the young girl who's now an adult, who's in the mental institution, she gets an opportunity to face her molester. Ooh. Now, see, what would you say after all these years? So this is where you're going to be on the edge of your seat, because her auntie put together a meeting where she's going to actually meet the man that molested her. And so you have to think about in your mind the pain, the anger, but she's going to confront this man. And the point of it is what do you say to your accuser after all these years when you look at that person in their face, when you know what happened as a kid?
Wow.
That's powerful. So people need to come out to see that. Because that right there is going to make your hair stand up on your head.
I don't see if anybody chimed in yet, because I don't want to tell everybody yes, no, whatever.
Right.
So, okay, we're good right here. Let me check this other phone. Because I tell you, people be, they be hitting it hard. I did a show not too long ago, and people started calling in and sort of caught everybody off guard because they weren't expecting some of the questions that came across.
Yeah.
My next question, if I'm right, you have a grandmother in that show?
Yeah, we have a grandmother who is the aunt as well, and she's like the staple of the family. But even she has issues, because when she finds out what happened to her niece after all these years of not knowing, then she starts struggling with guilt. See, we gotta put all this in the mix, Ron. We gotta throw all this. So she's struggling with. I've been around her, and see, that's one of my issues, because I have a family member who was abused, and I was raised with this family member. And one day we talked, and when the family member exposed to me what happened to her, I felt guilty because I was right there, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And instead of channeling it the right way because of my youth, I just kept thinking it was my fault. So I'm trying to make it up to her when you can't, you see. And so that guilt is something that a lot of us have to look at. What do you do with guilt that's unbridled, that you've had all these years? And so the grandmother, she's trying to weed through that. So she's trying to do everything she can, but at the same time, there's only so much you can do for a person. Wow. And that's the guilt complex.
I tell you that, I don't know about you, but if I found out something like that, I'm going to catch a case. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to catch a case, because I find that out of any one of my grandkids or anything like that happens, I'm sorry. Yeah. Don't have me in the same courtroom with that guy.
I hear you.
Don't have. But even though, excuse me, y'all, I shouldn't talk like that. But it's just my reaction messing around with a child.
Yeah.
That's my There's plenty of adults out there for you to mess with. But you won't mess with a child because you think they're easy prey.
They're innocent, yeah.
And then when you do that, do you know you messed that child up for life?
That's true, brother.
Do you understand that, what you just did? And you walk around like, hey, I conquered another one. Come to my neighborhood.
And see, I despise that mentality, because a child is easy. A child is naive. You know, they don't know. And so for us to be put in positions as, let's say, teachers, facilitators, pastors, or businessmen, or people that are trusted, brothers and sisters, aunties, uncles, we're put in that position, you see, and we take advantage of that position, and we go ahead and abuse these children because we're trusted. And now it's wrong no matter who does it. Yeah. But I despise the person that you trust when you go on a date with your wife and you want your nieces and nephews to stay with a relative, and you're not even thinking that way. But because you trust them, they take advantage of your kindness. Them the ones that I want to say, meet me in the alley. So them the ones I want to say, because we trusted you. And nobody's breaking in, kicking in doors and busting through windows to get us. It's the people we know, most of them. It's 92% of the cases, according to the CDC, are people that we know. 1 out of every 4 girls are sexually abused before they turn 18. 1 out of every 13 boys are sexually abused before they turn 18. This is an epidemic at our all-time high. And so we have to continue to keep this up front.
Oh,
we really do.
Man, Broken Glass is doing it. Yeah. So somebody did ask me, when I told them about the play, said, how long is the play? I said, as long as you want to sit there. You know, the play could be over. You could still just sit there just thinking about it. Yeah. But, you know, I said, then I answered on to it, said, it doesn't matter how long the play is, as long as you get the concept of what they're talking about. That really matters, because some people can watch something and, like for me, sometimes I can watch a movie 3 times, and I catch things in each time I watch it. And, you know, so, and I'll explain to them, you have to be there from start to finish of the play, watch it thoroughly. That's what you need to do, because there may be something in there that you missed. Oh,
yeah, of course.
Because I get a lot of people ask, well, what happened there? We're sitting right here at the same place and you don't know what happened?
Yeah. And see, I would be remiss if I don't say this before this interview is over with. This is the part where we get practical. In other words, we expose the issues of abuse, but now here's some things that we can do that's going to stop it, the preventative measures. Number 1, when your child stays over to anyone's home, I don't care who it is, if you allow them to, there should be some kind of question and answering period the next time you see that child. See, you have to teach your children about their body parts.
Yes.
You have to tell them what this body part is, and that's going to help them. You teach them what a safe hug is. With my students, a safe hug is when you come to the side.
Yeah.
That front, that's only reserved for mama and daddy. And see, and when your body should not be seen naked or undressed by no one but a doctor and your parent in that same room. These are tips that we should be talking about. So we'll stop the broken glass. But see, we wait till it happens, and then we want to sound the alarm, and we should. Yeah. But a lot of these preventative measures, we don't like to talk about the preventative measures, you know. And when someone comes to you and say, somebody looked at me with uncomfortable eyes, we have that saying too, where we talk about what are uncomfortable eyes. In other words, there's a look, and then there's a look.
Yeah.
And see, girls don't know it, but men know it. And men do that. Oh, there's this thing with the tongue. See, kids don't know that, but we know that. Right. So when someone does that to you, you have to tell a trusted adult, see? And so the preventative measures, we could do a broadcast about that forever, because those are the things that we do to stop it, as opposed to just talking about it. And that's where we fall short as a society. We like to expose it when it happens, but when you say, well, what are some things that we can do to prevent it? You know, we talk about it when you're around the dinner table. In other words, has anyone ever said this to you? Has anyone ever looked at you this way? Has anyone ever touched you in this area? See, that's when they're going to say, yeah, Uncle so-and-so did it. See, and right at that point, now you'd be able to call that Uncle so-and-so and say, you know what? Now you can stop it, because now he knows that you're going to question that child. And so that's why we don't like the applicable things. We just like to talk, oh, it's a shame that they did them like that. And it is a shame. But we can stop the shame if we have these kind of discussions where people like you that says, hey, man, get your behind. He didn't tell me to come back on here. He wanted to do a second interview. He told me this way. Get your behind back over here. We're going to do a second interview whether you like it or not. And I'm here.
Yes, he is. And also, when you touched a point right there, sitting back and being preventive about it. But there are some parents scared to death to talk to their kids like that. And so we got to reach them, because you should be able to talk to your kids the way for them to understand. Don't do that. I was watching a skit one time. This little girl went outside and she said, what's the rules? Don't get in the van with nobody. And then she said, so what if they offer you some candy? I'm getting in the van. And she said, no, you're not. I'm not? Even if they offer candy? No, you're not doing that. Okay. So what happens if you offer me a bunch of candy? You're not getting in the van. You know, so she was teaching the temptations out there for kids. And if it ain't candy, the other soft spot is a puppy. They do things to lure kids in like that. And so we have to teach our kids from early. From early, don't do that. Matter of fact, we was sitting around and my grandkids said something. It was something that they got to yell out. about something. And they turned around and said that. I said, where'd y'all learn that in school? So why are you talking about Grandpa like that? Well, Grandpa, I just want you to know what we did, but you know, I don't know if I want to pick you up anymore.
Wow.
And they looked at me and said, I'm just playing, but y'all doing the right thing. But make sure you do it right at the right time. Don't play with that.
One of my friends gave me a pointer. He says, if you get a chance to say it, if you remember it, make sure you put this in the preventative aspect of it. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, this is what I did growing up. He has children, and he said that he always gave his child a code. In other words, a code word. Let's say the code word was violet. Whoever picked that child up, if it wasn't himself, and there was an emergency where he couldn't make it, whoever picked that child up, the child is going to ask that person, whether it's uncle, aunt, cousin, brother, sister, what's the password? If you don't know the password, I don't care who it is, you don't go with them.
Right.
Because he tells his children passwords and he changes them up. And that's before they get in the car. Even if the teacher or the school allow them to go with this person, they're going to ask the child is going to ask that person, what's the password? If the person says, I don't know, then they don't get in the car because he told them that if they don't know the password, don't go with them under any circumstance. And he said that worked beautifully because everybody that he told to pick up his children, he gave them the password. So I'm like, that's brilliant.
That is. I like that because that keeps everybody in check.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Especially that loud auntie. Boy, you better get in this car. I don't need no password. My mom and dad said, don't get in the car unless you know the password.
That's practical right there, man. It's beautiful to have this discussion. And I'm, like I said, man, ever since I met you, I've had this fondness for your knowledge and your insight and your heart to help society. We need more people like that. Whatever you have, you're willing to share it if the cause is worthwhile.
Yes.
If the cause ain't worthwhile, we keep our own stuff. But you've always, in a sense, rolled out the red carpet to me about what we can do. You know, because we can, like you said, hey, after the play is over with, because this situation of abuse is not going to stop, I want to get the cast to come back. No one thinks like that's ingenious, you see.
Yeah.
And have a broadcast about, let's just talk about preventative measures because someone out there can take advantage of that because somebody has been burned before.
Yes.
And they need to know these are practical things. And like you said, you're not afraid to talk to your children about all this other stuff, but you don't want to talk to them about what's important. Like I tell my family members, we have little girls that's 3 and 4 and they dance and pop and all this. Everybody say that's cute. They use vulgarity every now and then. Oh, that's so cute. But when have you had that discussion about them staying over my niece's boyfriends, uncles, cousins? You don't have that discussion about where did you sleep last night? Who slept with you? A child is going to tell you because they're naive. And if anybody ever tells you, don't you ever say anything, or I'm going to do this, they're threatening the child, that's what you begin to tell them. If anybody ever says that, you come to me because they trust you, and then you take over from there. So that's beautiful, man.
I see people say that this secret is going to be between me and you. Yeah, right. Right. Kids, most kids can't hold a secret.
No.
They just, hey, guess what we did? And be so sweet and innocent saying it, your eyebrow go up. Why would you talk to this person?
You sure do.
Because this was not right. All right, everybody. We have a pair of tickets to give out to Broken Glass on Saturday. So text us at 210-461-8034 and just text Broken Glass. And I have a pair of tickets for you right here to go see this awesome play. And, you know, I'm just blown away with the trailers that went on. And I like those trailers. I was intrigued, and I said, man, but them trailers is well put together. Especially the one you showed me earlier. I'll get it up somewhere down the line. But it was the music. Because the music in the background, it wasn't mystery. It wasn't scary. It was one of those that makes you want to sit down and just look and see what it's all about. There was some good music in the background in that last trailer. That was excellent. Because it'll keep your attention and everything. So, but, all right, so what else do we got?
Well, we have, in December, we have another play we're working on now, and it's actually called The Revolution Continues. Now, this play goes from personal to history.
Okay.
It goes from personal to history in the point that back in the day, we talked about the 60s and the 70s. It was a revolution and we all stood up for what was right. Yeah. Well, we need that to continue because now we've gotten soft.
Yes.
We've gotten lackadaisical. And so we're going to encourage the audience to begin to pick up causes, you know, like you're doing. You know, every time I talk to you, there's a cause that you have that's on the back burner that's coming forward. You're contemplating, you're doing something. That's what we need to stop a lot of this madness.
Yeah.
So the revolution continues. And then in February, for our Black History celebration, Liberation Academy, they're working on their 3rd album. They're going to let this new album that they're working on now, they're going to release it. And they have songs, man, they're similar to yours in that the music that you do is socially conscious with all the vulgarity and the nonsense, but it gets your attention to challenge you to do something.
Yeah.
Every time I listen to your music, it's fine, it's great, it's conscientious, but there's a message in there for me to not just listen to it, what you gonna do about it? And that's what I like about it.
That's a good one. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the what did you say, your school or
Liberation Academy.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Liberation Academy is a school that the Liberation Center, which is a social outreach. You know, we have 2 arms. One of the arms is in liberal arts, which Broken Glass comes out of that. The other arm is education, academia. It's a grade school from K to 6th grade, and basically our education is centered around Afrocentrism, where we teach our students what our education is about. And education is about me working for other people. We instill that in their minds at a young age. It's about getting your own business so that when you become successful, you can hire other people. It's also about knowing what is going on in our communities. You know, it's also about knowing what real history consists of. You know, our students are not just United States historians; they're world historians. Okay. So they can go to Africa, they can go to Asia, they can go to North America, South America, and the students that I have, their aspirations are so high, and I love that. The bar is really high. I have a girl now she's only like 10, but she's looking at being a doctor. And so we have the curriculum working on learning the body parts, learning medicines, and all of that. We have 2 of them that want to be air traffic controllers. So they're going to go to the airport and go into the tower at a young age of 9 or 10 and see what happens. You know, we have one that wants to be a neuroscientist. About the brains, and so her courses gear around that at this age, you know. And then we have one that's an artist. I'm talking about. I'll show you before I leave, but she did something on social media. She did a picture of a dog, but what she did with that picture, man, at 12 years old, you're going to say, no, Jahi, this person's got to be an adult. I said, no, she's only 12. Yeah. So we gear that school towards success, and not just verbal success, but literal success.
When you said that, 12 years old, we were always told, I was told when I was younger that I had an old soul. I never knew what an old soul meant until I got older and I understand. Some of the kids come out already with the knowledge in their head. And I wish everybody came out like that.
Did you hear the young girl, Little Wren? She did the first interview. And the interviewer was asking her questions, and the way she spoke, how articulate she was. I mean, she was like a little lady. She loves that. She's a wordsmith. She sits back and listens to conversations, and she studies words. And when she speaks, most of her family members, they tell her all the time that she's an old soul because she can carry on a conversation with an adult. And she can outrank them with words. She uses words like vociferous, loquacious. And she that people asked her, they said, well, Chloe, they said, why did you seem so comfortable up on stage with that older woman ask you all those questions? She says, I love that. She says, I like to spar with older people. I said, it's not about that. It's not about all that. But she's talking about verbally. Yeah. She gets a thrill out of listening to words. And even in class, in her language arts courses, she's only 10 years old, but if you saw the curriculum that she's working in language arts, she's pretty much working now at a maybe a 7th or 8th grade level. Wow. She knows about participles and all these things. She's good at that. And so as an instructor, I take that and I gear it towards what she's going to do in life. And that's why when she spoke, everybody was telling me, well, she's so articulate. I said, I hear that every day. I hear that every day. It doesn't surprise me. That's what we train her for.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's brilliant. I love that. I love what you're doing with the school. You cater to the kids and where they want to go to make sure they get that foundation. That's what I was looking for earlier. You get a foundation. Because if they get that foundation, man, no telling how far they go in life.
Yeah. And everything is about whatever you do, give it back to your community. Don't leave the community as if you've abandoned them, but whatever goal or field you work in, you go back into the community and you help show them like you do. You know, you say, hey man, come out. You didn't say, hey, this is my studio, you can't come. This is just for me. You know, I'm just going to sit out at this ivory tower. No, you invite people into your space and you give them what's yours, and you take the power and the gift that you have and you utilize it. And that's one of the things that we've lost as far as in art. And that's what this broken glass is about. We're giving it back to the people so they can see this is us, man.
Yeah.
I think I said that when I first stood up, when I gave some remarks. You know, it's not about me. It's about us.
Right.
We're all in this thing.
Right. And you are so true. When you say about giving back, I do photography, and I think I taught 10 who are now professional photographers. And awesome. they went way past me. I just gave them the basic. They just went off.
Awesome.
And then I'm turning around now that I'm setting up people podcast.
Okay.
So I tell them what to buy. I go over there. I set up everything. About 3 hours sitting down there. We go over everything, set up everything, done. And I walk away. They said, so I said, no, you're on your own now. I said, I got you all set up and everything. It's just the things that people need to start doing is, what's what I'm looking for? God's gift.
Okay.
God gave everybody a gift, but it's your point to find out what your gift is. Some people got gifts, don't even know it.
Better say it, man.
You know, they got it sitting right there in front of them. And when you brought up about them going out getting their own business, doing things, I tell everybody over there, what's your hobby? Oh, I do this. Oh, they want me to do this for somebody else. You know, your hobby is your hobby is your next business. What you mean? Take that hobby, turn it into a business.
And know that you start off when they're younger. When we get older, it's already embedded in us. What are you going to do? I'm going to go work for such and such. Whereas as children, once you embed that in them, their mindset is no, even though you may have to start off that way, but the ultimate goal is to have my own business so others can work for me. You see, and I think that's very crucial and it's important. And Broken Glass, a play about truth, trauma, and healing. The truth is things have happened to all of us, whether we like it or not. The trauma is if we don't deal with that truth, it's going to affect us as adults as it has.
Yes.
And then finally, if we do not heal from those things that happen to us, we're going to be some messed up adults, as a lot of us are, because we haven't rectified the wrongs that were done to us.
That's so true. So here's the poster right here. So you see that right there? Now, I got something for you in order for you to buy tickets. If you don't want to call in and get free tickets, you want to pay for it, I'm gonna leave this up for a minute. And I want you to look at the QR code. There we go. Let me get it straight. There we go. Look at the QR code. You got plenty of time to zoom in on that. And just get your tickets for Saturday and Sunday at 5 p.m. So you definitely got to do it. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to be there Sunday. I don't know who's in the front row, but I'm going to move them. I said, I'm sorry, this is my seat.
You're wise, because a lot of Saturday so far, Saturday's going to be the larger day. A lot of people like Saturday, and that's fine. We don't discriminate any day. But the Sundays crowd are the people that want to kind of kick back, like you said, come from their ministry and relax. Yeah. And it's not going to be as many, but at least you get a chance to put your feet up and you really enjoy. You know, you don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle, because I've heard a lot of people say, I want to come purposefully on Sunday, because Saturday, you know, everybody's going to be out Saturday. So that's the big day. But once again, I just appreciate you giving me an opportunity to come on your platform and talk a little bit about that which we know is the elephant in all of our rooms.
Oh, man. It's in every. I remember one day, me and my oldest son, we were driving down the subdivision. I told my son, look to the left, look to the right. He said, what you see? I see houses. I said, yeah. He said, Dad, what's your point? You never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Wow, that's something.
You never know.
You don't.
It looks so peaceful and everything. It looked like there's nothing going on. But when that door opened up, either love gonna come out or hate gonna come out. And I said that's happened, you know. And I also told my son, some of the people are so sweet and innocent. So don't get me wrong, everybody. I met some sweet and innocent people. If you get on their bad side, ooh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde comes out.
Yes, sir.
So the only thing I got to say in closing is, if you have anybody in your circle that's negative, you need to get them away from the circle. And also, if you got somebody new coming into your circle, your village, vet.
Yes, sir.
Vet them very well, because sometimes that'll come back and bite you in the butt. You think they're good for you, and all of a sudden behind your back, boom. So the way it is nowadays, you got to be wary of anybody and everybody, even family members.
That's right.
You got to be wary of them too. So what you want to say in closing?
In closing, I want you to get you a ticket and meet us at 702 Donaldson Avenue. It's called the Woodlawn Point Community Center, San Antonio, Texas, 78210. Saturday at 5 o'clock, Sunday at 5 o'clock. We want to see you there, not just because of ticket sales and that type of thing, but because of the subject matter. This is a serious subject that must be addressed, and we don't only address it, but we make sure that we give you application so that when you leave that place, you'll be able to find, how can I make myself the best version of the adult that I am, or teenager that I am, or child that I am, because we live in a world now that's filled with a lot of hatred, a lot of, as the brother just said, a lot of negativity, and we are the ones that are considered as light bearers to bring the positivity to darkness. And so I just want to encourage you all to come out, and I thank you for giving me the time to come into your space today to talk about broken glass. So I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, sir, for coming on.
Likewise.
Appreciate it.
All right.